The major problem of Israel is with the young generation of the black community. The problem of Israel is with the young generation of the black community. Black is with the young generation of the black community.
And just like that, without shame, these people are saying the quiet part out loud. And if black people one day decided they are done with the shit and they rose up against their oppressive government and the genocide going on in Palestine, man, it would be over in no time. Black people have been forced to endure century after century of white supremacist violence and oppression. Black people have kept quiet for so long, and facing all this pain has forced the black community to create something beautiful to keep away the hate of this world. This is the beauty you and I get to see in their music, in their art, in their dances, and of course in their fashion, all of which is so interesting, such that the oppressors could not help but love and consume, even try to make as their own. And black people finally risen and they are fighting back. They have entered into an era of cultural reclamation with receipts, full receipts. Black people know, and they can tell from a distance, and they definitely know when their culture is being appropriated.
I'm going to show you screenshots from 2 videos that I'll try and link below, and then I'm going to explain to you why these might be the 2 most important videos on the internet right now. The first is a video posted up by Lars, who is highlighting a meeting where the former Israeli consulate general is talking about how one of the biggest problems that Israel has is the young generation of black Americans today. The second is a video posted up by Shannon. Shannon stitched a montage of Israelis mocking and laughing at the pain and suffering in Palestinians because to them, the death of Palestinians, the pain of Palestinians is entertainment. It's laughable. And in her stitch, Shannon makes a poignant observation. She draws the parallels between white supremacists finding joy in mob lynchings of black people and connects it to white Israeli supremacists finding joy in the pain and suffering and death of Palestinians. And upon making that connection, she says, and I quote, "The oppressor does not change its patterns, they just change their targets." Now I want to explain to you why these are the 2 most important videos on the internet right now. When people hear the word privilege, they generally associate that word with the concept of gain, which is technically true in a lot of cases. But within the broader scope of the global community, the word privilege is more accurately equivalent to the concept of a blinder. The more privileges you have, the less you see. And the less privileges you have, the more you have to bear witness to all of the oppression, all of the suffering, all of the problems. And it is that group of people that are forced to witness the worst of that oppression, forced to survive the worst of that violence, that also have the strongest potential to rise up and fight back against it. Now take that concept and plant it into the real-world context of the current young generation of Black America. Black Americans have been forced to endure century after century of well-documented white supremacist violence and oppression. And the astonishing thing about humanity is that for some reason, facing all of that pain, all of that suffering, compels humans to create something beautiful in order to stave off the hurt of this world. And that can be found in the music, the dance, the fashion, the literature, the art, all of which was so sensational, so compelling, so riveting that white people could not help but love it and consume it and appropriate it and try to make it theirs. And they did that time and time again until this young generation of Black Americans rose up and compelled this nation to enter into an age of cultural reclamation. And they brought the receipts. Oh, you like that music? Black people created that. Oh, you dress like that? Black people have been dressing like that for literal decades. The way you are speaking literally involves slang and syntax that originates within the Black community. How is it that you are comfortable speaking and dressing like that and still manage to hate Black people? All of those questions, while they have not cured America of its racism, have at the very least forced America to contend with its anti-Blackness. And at a base state, establishes that being a racist is a bad thing. And upon that establishment, connected to the age of cultural reclamation, Black Americans have elevated themselves into a new era of social, political, cultural, and economic power. An era of shifting power that can be felt and witnessed around the globe because the reality of American hegemony has required the global consumption of American culture, which at its foundation is Black culture. This is where poetic justice comes into play. When a community like that rises to that level of power, while also wearing the least amount of blinders, wielding the least amount of privileges, it is almost guaranteed that they are going to recognize every movement of oppression that is being weaponized against communities across the globe. That's the thing about forcing a community to endure century after century of violent systemic racism. They are forced from birth to become experts at recognizing racism and recognizing oppression when they see it. Their intellect, their intuition, their observation skills are honed and sharpened to constantly be aware of it, to the point where the slightest shift in the tone of your voice is going to clue them in to whether or not you're a racist. That little shift in your body language, that little twitch in your eye the moment that a Black person walks into your vicinity, they clock that within milliseconds. They're experts. They shouldn't be, but they are. And who do you listen to when you are trying to understand a situation? The experts. You listen to the people who know what the fuck they're talking about. And Palestinians are bringing their receipts, publishing the documents, delivering the video footage, speaking English to make sure that nothing gets twisted in translation. And Black America is bearing witness and recognizing that violence. It looks disturbingly familiar to them because they have witnessed that same violence, that same brutality inflicted upon their own families, their own community. And with that recognition, they feel compelled to point out the oppressor, speak out against the oppressor, and stand with the oppressed. And they choose to do so in abundance, despite the sacrifice, despite the censorship and the shadow banning, despite the targeting and the brand deals that are financially depriving them, because they would rather stand up loudly and proudly against the violence of white supremacy than inflict the pain of a silent bystander upon another human being. And that is why an Israeli leader at a private convention in the city of Atlanta, of all places, is stating that the young generation of Black America is the biggest threat to Israel. And if that does not make you feel powerful today, then I don't know what will.
So she goes by the name Sincerely Hour, and you guys can check out her TikTok account. I listened to this all the way through 3 times and discovered a new intellectual gem each time, and it makes sense what she was saying, and we are finally getting it. And finally, I'm the last person to tell you, if this did not make you smile, then I do not know what will. Do share your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you guys think about this?